get some stuff going first. No, not that. And shuffle. Okay. I think I'm live. I think I've been live for a little bit, but trying to pull out the stream real quick. Try to get my chat going. Okay, bet. He live, dude. Okay, let's pull up the chair and let's get right to it. So anyways, last time I left off, I might as well show you guys what's going on. This is not even a test project, that's just the name of the project because I didn't have a name. This is a multiplayer first-person shooter game that I have been working on for about 2 days now. If I go ahead and click create, you will see there's one weapon I can aim in. I very, very quickly put this together, so this is not like a full project. This is far from finished, far from working. Like, I can't even shoot yet. Like, and I can walk through trees and stuff like that. Like, obviously these trees aren't even going to be final game because this isn't my model or anything. I do want to actually add my own models eventually. We got the water. This is also not my water, although I might use a free water asset when it comes down to it eventually. We'll see. The minimap, let's actually maximize this so you guys can really see what's going on. As a matter of fact, let's not even maximize. Let's go ahead and go over and, I would build it, but we're not going to build it. We're going to go over to built projects and just open the built game because it's already built. I don't have to build it again. Create, call it A. Anyone that downloads this game, which there's not an actual download link yet. I mean, there technically is, but it's for testing purposes, so only public game testers can really get a hold of this game so far, because I will not be wanting people to ask me for updates and stuff, and then not being able to come out with an update. But anyways, if you could check out that mini map, look how cool that thing is. That green dot is me. If another player joins, and I can actually simulate someone joining, because I could just reopen this with a second client. This actually does work on multiplayer already, so it doesn't shoot like I've said before, but you can see that is the player model. My skin in Minecraft, which is kind of cool. But you can see I'm right here. I can aim in and everything. I can't walk through the player because he's got a collision box. It is slightly animated. I have gotten that somewhat set up. And what I could do is actually show you really quickly. If I take this over here and then take this one over here, you'll see I actually do move around. It's not exactly the quickest, but you see I jump. There's no animation for that yet. If I aim, you can see he actually kind of aims. I know it looked kind of weird, but didn't spend too much time on this yet, so that was the whole reason of it. But yeah, this is what I've got so far. It's just kind of cool because of the mini map. That's honestly my favorite part about it. So if I go over here, I'm sure you guys already saw, but I do want to show it off again. You can see the green dots. Those are players, and I can add as many players as I want, up to not as many, up to 20. Photon is a free multiplayer hosting service that allows me to have 20 players into my game at any time of the day, whenever I want. Let's go ahead and join A again. And then you'll see we now have 3 clients in the game. If I want to, we can add a 4th. and just keep going. You know what I mean? Until we get to 20. We're not going to do that because it's a waste of time, but it's possible. And this is proving that. So if I come over here, now there's 3 people. And now I can be over here. See, what I could do is have 4 of me in the game and then have a friend join and just trick him and be like, yeah, dude, I got a bunch of people on. When in reality, it's just me. And then I could like, or I could like make a bunch of bots that look like me. Just make them simulate like players. One thing I do want to end up doing is adding player names to the game. I don't know how to do that though. So that is a future project. Also, if you look, the weapon needs to be angled down more. So if I look down, you see right there, it's like centered right there when I'm like trying to look down. Also, I did add weapon sway, so you could see that already. It gives it so much more life to the game. As well as, because of the way I have the gun set up, you can see I can get as close to as I want to objects without it clipping through the objects. Technically, right now, it would be clipping through. However, I can actually close a few of these. I'll close them all. And then come back in here, and you'll see, if I click play, you'll see exactly how this thing is set up and working. So basically, I don't know why it's so much darker in the Unity play mode. But anyways, if I come over here, I can actually go to the scene view and fly over to my player, wherever he is. That is one issue. He is invisible. So the actual player can't see his own model. And that's just because it looks very strange. If I were to enable that, you'll see just what that looks like. So let's go in here and player skin, re-enable it. And now you'll see this is what it looks like if I had the model for him. And now you see that there's a gun there, and you'll see like him do the animation. There's 2 different guns. And now you can see how this is working. So the bottom gun in his like pelvis area is the gun you're seeing in the actual view. That gun in his hand is the is just there so that other players can see that you're holding a gun and aiming. That's just like visual effects for other players, not even for you. That's all hidden because every time you start a game, it actually hides your whole skin, which hides that gun. You see? So now all I can see is just that one single gun. And even then, there's 2 cameras you can see. I have a gun, or a camera specifically for the gun. If I come over to the gun cam, you see this is all it can see. It can't see the world. It can't see anything else. It just sees the gun. This is an overlay cam. So what that means is it's going to overlay this image, everything it can see, which this is all transparent background. That's just the sky. It'll overlay this onto the screen. And that is how I can walk into a wall without it making the gun clip, which is how a lot of games actually do that in the first place. If I come over here, the map camera is the same way. It's just kind of a camera looking down, rendered onto a image or render texture that is being displayed as a render, a raw image. So the raw image can take in the render texture, the camera can display to the render texture. So basically doing all that, and then I have a mask set up. So it's like, if I click on here, I believe. No, not there. The next one. Oh, wait, no. Not that. It's the... Oh, it's in the UI. I forgot. It is the map border. Or image. Yeah, okay, so this image right here is a circle. I had to generate a perfect circle so that I could get this working pretty well. So I basically made that circle just so that I could mask this, because this is normally just a square image, and it would always be just a square. But I didn't want the square, so I put a mask on there to get rid of that. And then the map border is obviously that outline on the back, so that's why I forgot that I added that. Anyways, let's get right into the gameplay. Well, not the gameplay. Get into the coding aspect of this, because I do want to add raycasting to the game. I don't exactly know how to do that, so I don't know if that's what I'm gonna focus on right this second. I might just add some like a health bar to the player maybe, and focus on that right now. So if I come over to player, I'm gonna go in here and go player. So a new script. We're gonna call this player, not player manager. That would be like for take damage and stuff. So player data. So this is going to be the player data. We're going to drag this onto our player, which obviously the player isn't here right now. So we have to go to resources, player. We'll go into here, add a new component, and add the player data. So far, player data is going to be empty because this is a new script that we just made. So we can go ahead and open this. Hopefully it opens the correct way. Oop. Okay, so now in here we have nothing. Pretty much nothing. So this is the player data script. The one thing we are going to want to do is go for a public int health. The reason we're going for an int is because we don't want to float, and a integer is going to be a whole number, a float is going to be a decimal point, bool is a true or false, string is a text document. Basically, it's a list of characters rather than numbers. So an int of health, that's going to be whole numbers. That means if I take 10 damage, it's going to do 10 damage. If I do 10.5 damage, it's not going to let me take damage because it can't do 10.5 without rounding it to the nearest int at least. Or rounding it to the int, yeah, pretty much rounding to the nearest int. We're going to equal this to, I don't know, 100 health? Maybe 100, yeah. Could do 20, but we're going to do that. And then we'll do public float stamina. And this is just because okay, no, I don't want to do stamina. That's just too much work for right now. I don't want to be adding all that stuff into the game. We're just going to focus on the health. And then we're also going to come in here and add ourselves a new script. But we need to go into scripts, go to player. Let's go in here, and we're going to call this player manager. This one is going to take care of how the player reacts to things. It's just going to manage the player's physics or whatever. Not the physics of like running and stuff, but you'll see. So we're going to make a new class called public void, or not class, method or whatever you call these things. Public void take damage. So this is the custom thing we're calling take damage. It's going to take in a int of damage. Actually, you know what? It's not even going to do that. It's going to take in a weapon, and we're going to call this weapon. And that's so that we can get the damage off of the weapon. So then we're going to go in here and go weapon. No. Before doing all that, let's go ahead and make this so that we can get the autocorrect and stop having that. Go into scripts. We're going to go into new folder. Call this weapons. Go in here. And weapon. Actually, instead of doing that, no, that'll work. Yeah. So then we can come in here, delete all of this. That's all garbage to us. Replace this with scriptable object because we want a scriptable object. Then up here we can do system.serializable. I think we need that. Then we come down here and we're going to do public int for damage. Public int max ammo. Public int we're going to do current ammo. Or I mean, I guess we could just do ammo. Ammo. Yeah, let's just do that. And then we'll just leave it at that. So every player will get like 30 ammo. If they die, they loot. No, if they die, they drop ammo, and then players can pick up ammo, even if they don't have ammo. That'll just be like a loot if they drop it. That's just an example. I'm not saying that we're gonna do that. We might though. I'm basically just getting the concept of getting a multiplayer game working. This is not going for the game that I'm initially wanting to make, because that's going to be very complicated, and we're not trying to get there yet. So next is, that's actually it for the scriptable objects. So now we can come over to the player manager, and now you can see it's not all red because this weapon script now exists, and it's going to be, take damage is going to only, anytime you call take damage, you're going to have to pass in a weapon. Otherwise, it won't let you call take damage. Like, it'll just give you an error. So what that means is we can go into here, and we also want a player, but the player manager should be on the player. Maybe we should... No. What we're going to do is public player data. Player data. There we go. And that basically means now our player data is going to be imported, and we'll have all of our data from our player. We don't need the enemy yet. Maybe in the future we'll need like the enemy so we can display which enemy killed you or whatever. We're not going to do that now. So what we're going to do is we're going to do player data dot health is minus equals weapon dot damage. And instead of doing that, let's do if player data dot health is greater than or equal to 0. Or wait. No, if it's greater than 0, then take damage. Otherwise, oops. I don't know what it's talking about. I did press some weird button on the keyboard. Then take damage. Else player die. And then we're going to make a new method called public void player die. The reason this is a public void is because we need to be able to call this from any other script. Let's say the bullet hits the player. We want the bullet to, on collision, activate this code, which would only be able to be possible if it was able to reach this code. So public void player die, and then we're going to go ahead and do... We'll just do this dot. Yeah, this will work for now. That basically means the player is now dead. It's going to kill the player. Get rid of him. I don't know exactly how to check. And then I guess I could do, instead of doing that, let's do game object dot delete or destroy, and then just destroy this game object. This game object refers to whatever this script is attached to, so we're going to be attaching this to the player anyways. So Actually, how's that going to work? Because then, yeah, we want that. But before we do that, we do want to import photon here using photon.pun. This is just so that we could do the multiplayer functionality. I've never really messed with photon before, so this is the first time I'm actually writing a code by myself with photon, and I believe it goes photon something. Photon, let's see. I know photon network is a thing, but I don't think this is the right one. Oh, it is. Photon, yeah, okay. So this is going to be the prefab name. Let's go ahead and import a prefab. So let's go to public game object player prefab. So then we're going to import that here. Go player prefab. Oops. Comma. Then we need a vector3 position. So let's go ahead with whatever the initial player spawn was. You know what? Let's just put this in a public void spawn player. And then let's go ahead and put that in here, and then let's call spawn player instead. Now, instead of doing this all over again in here, let's go ahead and do... And we won't even need a player prefab reference, because instead we can just go ahead and get a reference to the spawn player script. So player spawn, make this public so we can just drag it in. Actually, no, we're not going to be able to drag it in because player spawn is going to be on in the world. So we can make that private, I guess. Having nothing there, like no name, like private or public, will default to private. That's why I didn't type anything. I could type private, but there's no point. Player spawn, we do want one of those, and we want to name it player spawn. Doesn't really matter what we call this, as long as we remember. Now we got the player spawn. We're gonna go ahead and go in here and do player spawn dot spawn player. There we go. Now, I'm not exactly sure if this is going to work because it's killing the object, which means that this script is going to get killed as well. So I don't know if this is going to continue running this line of code since the object should have died. But I'm not exactly sure how that works, so we'll see. Actually, we might even want to do an if statement just in case. Is less than or equal to 0. I don't know what these brackets are for right here. Okay, so then player die. There we go. And so far, our weapon has nothing on it. We could do like a weapon name, public string weapon name. And actually, instead of system.serializable, let's do create asset menu. Oh, I don't know what I just did. There we go. And then we're going to do file name is equal to new weapon. And then after this, we're going to do a comma, and then we're going to do menu name is equal to, and we will do data slash create new weapon. There we go. And then over here, weapon name. We want a weapon type? No. But we could do a public bool full auto. Or actually, no. How do we want to do this? So there's a lot of ways we could do the different weapon types. One way would be a string, and I don't want to have to check for a string because there could be, like, let's say I accidentally forget a capital letter. It'll be case sensitive, and the string will be different, and then the weapon type will be off. So what I could do is do something like, actually, I know that there's a way to do, like, strings, but be able to, like, I don't know how to do it. It'll, like, add a drop down, but instead of doing that, we can do an int and then do, like, 0, 1, 2, but then we're going to have to remember which one corresponds to what, like, full auto is going to be 1 or whatever. Single will be 0, something. Or we could do a bool and just do single shot and then non-single shot, which would be full auto. Do we need bursts in this game? We don't. I don't even think we need auto. Full auto, but we'll just do a bool for now. So public bool, we're gonna call this is full auto. If not, then this gun is just gonna single shot. Like, it'll keep shooting if you keep clicking, but you can't just hold down the button. Anyways, now we need to just make sure we make a new weapon. Let's go to data, create new weapon. Now we got a new weapon. This is the scriptable objects code that we just made. And then we're gonna call this pistol or rifle. Just a generic rifle. Call it rifle. Is full auto? Yes, it is. Damage is gonna be like 2. I don't know. It's just, I want it to be more of a fair chance since it's full auto. It's gonna do so much damage when you do, like, and I guess that still takes 50 shots to kill a guy, but you know what? More like 5, because then that's 20 shots to kill someone, which is more reasonable. Even then, that's still a lot of shots. Ammo, this doesn't matter. We're just going to leave it to 100, or we'll put it to 100. This really doesn't matter because it's actually not going to be useful. And now that I think about it, we're probably going to want to get rid of that. Eventually, we would switch that with an ammo type instead and not have an ammo count, because the ammo count will be on the individual weapon, not on the weapon. Like, this is a weapon and all, but if I want a bunch of different rifles, I'd have to make a bunch of, like, I could just drag this in, but then if one of them loses ammo, all of them lose ammo because I only made one rifle here. I'd have to make multiple separate instances of these scriptable objects for the ammo count, because if I change one, it's going to change all, because it's all deriving from the same thing. So technically what this ammo and damage is, this is a read-only. Well, we want to treat it as a read-only. So we don't want to be changing these variables at all. So ammo, we don't want to be changing and decreasing when we shoot. That would be more for a weapon manager or something, and then that would hold like the it would take the ammo at the start and then turn that into a new variable of ammo, and then it would decrease from that new variable of ammo. And then at the end of the game, it would like save that back to your, no, because that still wouldn't work. I don't know. You wouldn't want to do ammo. And speaking of it, since I'm saying that, I'll just delete it. You don't want ammo. You can do weapon type because that's a read only, but ammo is not gonna be a read only. Max ammo could be read only because like then I could like use that as a reference to figure out what the max ammo of this gun could be. But as far as just ammo count, no, you don't want to do that. Anyways, now we have a rifle. And that means we can go ahead and try to kill ourselves. No, it doesn't sound great, but we're going to actually go back, and we're probably not going to get too much done today. Probably not even get this functional. Maybe. We need to go not to resources, but to scenes. Go to game. Oh, crap. This kind of sucks because we can't actually just play. But that's because the spawn player's not existing. Which also means that if I come over here, player spawn actually needs to derive from something. So, well, not derive from something, but we need a reference to player spawn, which is not going to be on this object. So we're going to do, there's a simple and handy feature, which is a horrible one to use from what I've heard. It's very resource intensive, and you don't want to use this unless you absolutely have to. It is called GameObject.find. At least I know that you're not supposed to use this, even though I do use it anyways. And then inside of here, we're going to put the string. And I think that's why it's so resource intensive, because it's looking for a string. It's not looking for like a game object type or like a certain script. Even then, that'd probably be pretty laggy. If it just knew where to look, it'd be a lot quicker, but it doesn't know where to look, so it's looking through every single object in the game, and if you have a ton of objects, it's gonna have to go through quite a bit. We're gonna call this spawn players, and then dot, obviously, get component, player spawn. So, yeah. There we go. Now we can do a test script if we want to, just so we can see this working without having to make a whole UI and everything, which we will do eventually, but not right now. So we do want to go to the player, which is in resources, and then come over to the player. Player data is on here, but then we want player manager. Wait, what is this for? Huh. Public player data. I don't know why health is showing up here. Beams? Wait, what? There's 2 player managers. Weird. Anyways, this is the one that we want. So let's go ahead and not click play just yet, because I do need a weapon reference. And this is where we're going to just create a test script. So go over here. We're going to go to game, I guess. And C# script. Test script. We're just going to delete this after we after I show you guys how it works. So open this test script, and inside of here, we're going to want to get a reference to a weapon. So public weapon. This is going to declare what weapon is being shot so that we can get the damage. And then we're also going to want, just for now, we're going to want a public player manager. Not in start, but in update. If input dot get key down key code dot there we go. If we get one click down on the mouse button, on the shoot button, then player manager dot take damage. Then we're gonna have to pass in the weapon so that it'll get the damage from the weapon. The only issue here is this is going to have to be on the player for now so that it can get a reference to the player manager since they spawn into the world. I can't just drag those references on. But in the real world scenario of like how this would be working, the bullet would hit the player, which would then gather the script off of the player anyway. So I wouldn't have to go searching for the players and the nearest player to it. It's going to collide with the player, and then we're going to search for the if it collides with the player or collides with the object with the tag of player, then it will search for the script on it of player manager so that it can get that script. For now, we're just going to put it onto the player. So we'll put this test script right here so that we can get that reference. Which means we also need to put the weapon in there. Player manager, and then let's go down here. And I know in scripts, I think it was. And then I thought it was like weapons. Oh yeah, rifle. So now whatever this is, 5 damage, that's how much damage I should be taking every single time. Oh, I'm on play, hold on. Or I'm on game. Should be over in the loading screen. And just like that, if I create something, we're going to come over to the player. Wherever that is. There it is. And now if we come down here and look at the health, when I click down, it should do that. Oh, look at that. So if I kill myself, it actually kills myself. Now I'm curious to see what this looks like in multiplayer. So let's build the project and see, does it work with multiplayer at least? Object reference not set to an instance of an object. What does that mean? I mean, I know what that means, but like which reference is not set to an instance of an object? Because I am genuinely curious. But it seems to be loading up, so we're probably good. Let's kill myself. So that works. Now, if I join my own game, will the killing myself still work? It'll probably kill both players, if I'm going to be honest, but that's fine too. I want to see if the respawning... What the... Hmm. I don't know who that is. I think that's the player when he died. Yep. See, the player died, and it seems to actually work with the respawn, except for the fact that it's leaving a player behind. Which now you can see on the middle of my screen, there is a weapon floating there. And I am fairly confident I know exactly what that's from. And it has something to do with the fact that there's a bunch of players here. Which are all invisible on my screen, actually. It's very odd. Yeah, I can't see any of them, but they can see me. I don't know why it's so laggy looking, too. Oh, weird. I'm so confused. We'll talk about breaking the game. And this is why I love coding. I don't know what the heck's going on, but I'm going to have to troubleshoot this eventually. And this is going to be a pain to troubleshoot because I have no idea what's happening. Mm. This is very trippy. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what's happening, but I didn't expect that to honestly work right away. So I'm pretty shocked that it actually is working. I mean, it's somewhat. So the respawning is what I didn't expect to work. I figured you would probably be able to see the players, but I thought it was gonna glitch out when you respawned. I thought, and it does actually. It does kind of glitch out, but I thought it was gonna be a little bit different. Like the cameras were gonna glitch, and you would be stuck in like an old camera, or you would glitch into the other player's camera. But I guess that's not necessarily possible, huh? But if two players die at the same time, then it is possible. I think. Actually, no, it shouldn't be possible. You should not be able to get the camera of another player anymore. That used to be an issue. But yeah, if I come over to here, we can check our code again. So if it's just take damage, then yeah. Game object dot destroy game object. Maybe I should do this dot game object. Okay. Oh, I do know what's going on. Although the pause screen, that shouldn't be. Wait, which one is not working? We're gonna see it work, so let's check. Oh, maybe that was old. Oh. Hmm. So it's when I die. However, I'm not sure exactly what's causing that because, like, what is happening when I died to delete that? If I go in here. You see it, like, didn't even get rid of the dude. Like, it just deleted him so quick. None of this. Oh! I'm gonna change that. Definitely gonna change that. Change this to awake because upon start, that's not happening. There's only one start in the game. The awake. Wait a minute. We'll see. I should have fixed it, but if not, I do know how I can fix it, but we'll see. For a second, see? It's not 900 anymore. And I do know why it's doing that somewhat. It's just not getting all of the references fast enough to where it's like, oh, you got an error. Even though I guarantee if I go and check, the reason it's not continuously saying that error is because it fixed itself. Just not quick enough to not throw up an error at all. So if I go and check, should have all references. So if we go into here, go into players, you'll see all of these. These are the ones that it's trying to say that aren't working. And they are unassigning when I respawn. Because they're set to assign themselves upon spawning into the game. Well, starting the game. So if you die and have to reset your player, then it's not the start of the game anymore. Actually, this is odd. There is no assignments. But wait a minute, the pause screen is paused. What? So, Private Void Awake, these all should be running as soon as that happens. Close screen. Should just set it to active, set it to off. Huh. Yeah, there's nothing in here that should be turning the screen off. Like the script, at least. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. But honestly, that is going to be it for this stream. I know it was a very short one, but it's because I believe we're going to be streaming here soon anyways. Oh, 50 minutes? I've been streaming for 50? Yeah. I could try to do something really quick. I don't think I could fix that right now. That's gonna be something off camera that I'm gonna have to fix. I'm gonna try to do the gun stuff off camera, and then I'm gonna come back, show you guys the progress that I made, and then also try to add something like the stamina meter or something like that. Like maybe even the UI, because that's something I could do on a stream. It's just streaming and trying to explain all this stuff well coding is very difficult, especially when I'm trying to go through tutorial after tutorial to learn. And like reading documentation, which is just boring, and then I'm like silent for a while. So it's very hard to stream and code. Making a video and coding, maybe, but that's too much effort for right now. So I am definitely going to call it a stream here, and then we're gonna back it back up with the stream tomorrow, maybe. It should be. Tomorrow's my last day of work for the week, so it's basically like my Friday on a Thursday. But yeah, that'll be it for this stream, I think. I'll be streaming Sons of the Forest possibly later at 7:30, which is about 30 minutes from now, about 38 minutes. I just figured I'd want to go eat and make sure I get all set for that, so just in case we're doing that. If not, I'm very tired, so I might just get off and get some sleep for work tomorrow, because after work tomorrow, if I have sleep, I'm definitely going to be streaming. If I don't get any sleep, I might just go to bed. Honestly, I'll stream a little bit, definitely, like at least an hour. But I'm gonna be tired, so it's not gonna be like anything special. But I know you guys can see this, and I am out.